How are you today? My name is Praise for Wait. Art Matters with Praise once again. I'm so excited to be back. I'm so grateful to you for watching this video, joining me all the time in this my masterclass. Even as we consider, different issues that affect humanity. Now, by what I do in the last 19 years, I have started with all kinds of people, handled all kinds of cases, and I'm so excited when I'm able to see my clients smile. And which is why I always tell people that you see, I am your shortest distance between you and bliss. And that's why sometimes when all you just need to do is reach out and let's diagnose what is wrong with you and help you fix it. I love it when human beings find peace within themselves and in their environment. Today, we're going to be looking at high beat shame, goodbye. How do you avoid shame and how do you overcome it? I often ask, why is it that people hate shame? Right? So, for example, as you're looking at me right now, if your bed wet today, are you going to tell anyone? Of course not. Why are you not going to tell people? Because you feel they're going to laugh at you, because it's considered shameful at your age to bed wet. Right? But if you lost some money yesterday, you're likely going to tell people why, because they don't consider that to be shameful, because majority of the people are doing it, isn't it? But that should be shameful. Why shouldn't they, castigate you or look at you and say you're an adult? Why would you lose money? Why would, no. But so you realize that what we call shame is the fact that some people sin differently from us. So what exactly is shame? Now, I have defined shame. I'm going to run you through different definitions, because in my study of the psychology of shame, I realized that oftentimes it's based on our beliefs than any other thing. And we say that nothing means anything except meaning you attach to it. So the meaning we've attached to shame is why it seems that, we all love to avoid it or we run away from it. So someone has cheated or someone is doing stuff that he's not proud of, but it's not able to open up about it because of what people are going to feel. Oftentimes, the people you're afraid of opening up to also have their own issues they're dealing with. Now, I say that shame is the label humanity has chosen to give a struggle that is common to all, for which some of us have overcome and for which those that still struggle are being castigated for, even though we all understand that we are all at different levels of our journey. Now, if you understand that clearly, it simply means it's the label we have chosen to give people, a struggle that is common to all. We all have struggles. And what we're castigating in others is what some of us have overcome. If I look back at, who I was as a teenager, I was very reckless. I was smoking, doing sex, doing all kinds of things that I wasn't proud of, that wasn't compatible with my value system, okay? Compatible with who I wanted to be, right? But I was doing that way back till I overcame it. Now, I'm likely going to look at other people who are at that level, maybe now they're in marriage, and castigate them and give them a label, right? So it's the label humanity have chosen to give a struggle that is common to all, for which some of us have overcome, and for those who still struggle are being castigated for, forgetting that we are different levels of our journey. Maybe where they are right now is where I was 20 years ago, but I seem to forget. And what I want to do is to join others to cast aspersion at them and make them feel bad or feel worse about themselves, even though I'd overcome it. Number 2 is the punishment humanity has created for those whose fault is visible, okay? Because some people do shameful things, disgusting things, but because it's not visible, they also come out and say, you know what, this person doing this, something is wrong with you. We say all kinds of things, because people's sins are visible. We want to kill them, but we have stuff we're dealing with quietly that nobody knows about. Shame is the burden imperfect people have placed on themselves to produce a perfect behavior. Truth is, we are imperfect, yet we expect perfect behavior from people. So people lie every day. We don't consider that shameful, because we say, oh, it's white lie, people do that. That's not as important as adultery and what have you, and that's the double standard we give in our world. Now, I am not siding with sin or things that's not compatible with the value system that you want to promote. But what I'm saying is, if we can, put people who steal to shame, liars should not be exonerated if that's what we really want. But what I say is that shame is life's feedback system that alerts us about what we have not mastered in our journey into authenticity. Now, so imagine if that has been the definition we give to shame, to say that it's life's feeding us back, to alert us about what we have not mastered in our journey, that we are on a journey. You are learning to walk. So you're going to crawl, you're going to fall down. That is what we call shame. If it's life's lessons that is meant to feed us back on what we have not mastered, what will be different about the way we treat it? Now, shame is also the punishment we give to those who sin differently from us. Okay, so that's why I love the perfect master. Jesus, a woman was taken to him, and the woman was caught in the very act, even though the guy that she was sleeping with, was not brought forth. And he looked at them. He did not say, he that has never fornicated. He said, he that is without sin cast the first stone, which was why nobody could stone that woman, because he had taken it to a higher level, right? So shame is the punishment we give to people who sin differently from us. It is the punishment we subject ourselves to for not measuring up to the standard set for us by folks who don't really understand our journey. Your journey is not known to anybody except God and you, and maybe people who have been through those kind of journeys before. So why would you allow people subject you to a standard that they don't even understand, a standard they've not met, and they are subjecting you to it? Now, when people understand that you are on a journey, you are at a certain stage in your journey, maybe you are in the stage of struggling, where you are learning to shed weight, learning to get feedback, learning to school yourself, break free from the patterns that has held you bound. And what they call shame is now what is visible in your pattern, to say it's your journey into wholeness. And you are going through this is feeding you back. If that's what we call shame, then people should not crucify you for doing what you're doing right now, because that's not the end point of your life, which is why I always say that your life is a super story, right? Follow this? Now, where you are right now is the suspense in the movie, or the shame, or what you consider shameful, or the pain in your life are the suspense in the movie. Now, if you remove the suspense, the movie is not going to be interesting. But you have to go through the suspense when people thought the actor was going to die, but you didn't die, to prove that your life is a best-selling movie. The happy ending must happen, and the actor must finish the movie. Now, when we understand this, then it will occur to us that shame began with rules and regulation that takes no cognizance into the reality and the differences of yet people expect us to align by the same rules, align by the same regulation. Do you remember how the best sportsmen who have not mastered basic subjects in class were shamed all the way back in our primary school? I mean, I grew up in Nigeria. There's a song we sing for people who can master maths, who could master math and English way back. We'll sing to them in my dialect. I mean, you are a mentally retarded person. The only thing you know how to eat is a fish, and what have you. So we sing for them, yet those guys were the ones who represented school in sport. So it means that their basic intelligence is not finding expression in the classroom, but they're still intelligent. I mean, it's like saying who is more intelligent between Lionel Messi and Dr. Ben Carson. They are not the same. Lionel Messi is a star, a genius in the sport. Ben Carson cannot do what Lionel Messi is doing. Lionel Messi cannot do what Ben Carson is doing, right? So what we do is we shame people, who have not mastered what we have mastered. Now, do you remember how the system classified us into pass and fail, as if our entire essence is determined by our weakness in a certain area, even if we're stronger in other areas that they have chosen to ignore? So there are things that the school system does not find expression for. It will not find expression for a child who can cook at 6, because the report card is not searching for that, so it's going to judge a child on the basis of math, that people who do not understand the child's reality, because some children are innovation, their intelligence is not covered within the ambits of the classroom. But you're still going to subject those kind of children to the standard that has been set by people who do not understand them. Do you remember how we laugh at people who struggle with English language despite knowing that English was not the first language they learned? This happened a lot in Nigeria till now. We subject them, we laugh at them, we say they have short bullets and what have you. We say all kinds of things about these people simply because they've not mastered the language that is not theirs. We are not testing them on the use of English, we are testing them on the sophistication of English. Do you know someone who is being shamed and labeled barren because of our inability to get pregnant? Now, nobody talks about a guy who has low sperm count. They look at the lady and they say she's barren, because she doesn't have a baby. But is she supposed to impregnate herself? So society subjects her to all kinds of shame. She runs from prophet, from pillar to post, looking for solution. Nobody is saying that to the guy. So when it's even time to pray for people with the fruit of the womb in our churches, we ask women to come out. We don't ask the men with low sperm count to come out. Meanwhile, the woman may not have any problem at all. Do you know someone who is currently being shamed for being single at 40, even when she can't marry herself? So we say she's 40, our biological clock is ticking, even when science has defied that. So we shame people for what they have no control over. She's not going to marry herself, yet we say she's 40. Nobody's going to marry her because of the small-mindedness, of the space where we found ourselves, especially for those in Africa. Here is the question. What are you presently struggling with that you can't share with anyone because of what people would say and how they're likely to shame you? What is that thing right now? Would you want to write it out on a sheet of paper right now? Now, curiously, I always love to ask, have you ever seen dogs shame fellow dogs with broken legs? So a dog broke his leg. Have you ever seen the other dogs shame and say, shame on you? They don't do that. Have you ever seen chickens gather to shame others who are in pain? Have you ever seen squirrels shame others for getting caught in the trap? Have you ever seen trees shame other trees whose branch is not like theirs? Have we ever shamed cocoa for not producing harvest as fast as maize? We don't do that. So if we don't do that, why do we not do that to ourselves? Why do we do that to human beings? So the question is, what exactly is shame? Could it be a warning to what you must overcome en route your desired future? Could it be that? What if that's what shame would mean? You'd realize that what you're trying to keep, you no longer need to keep it. You will open up about it. Could it be a feedback that reminds you of what you have not overcome? What if that's our definition? You realize that we will not shame ourselves, cast aspersion on ourselves, insult ourselves over what we've not mastered? Could it be a journey that enables you to feel what others feel so that you can move from judgment to empathy and minister healing and love to them? I went through child sexual abuse. I went through sex addiction. I'm able to empathize with people who go through similar pains right now because I knew what it felt when I was going through my pain. Could it be that your life's journey will necessitate that you go through this so that you can minister healing to others who are going through the same? Question is, what would shame mean to you henceforth? Here are some basic facts about shame. Shame is your friend because it's part of your life story. So own your shame. Shame is a feedback. It's a feedback. It doesn't define you. Shame is the pathway that reconnects you to yourself. For everything I'm ashamed of, I've learned to embrace it because it reconnects me to myself. It's part of my story. It's part of what has made me tick, what has made me strong. My shame, my lies, whatever that I've dealt with, that people consider, to be something they can't share. It's what has made me who I am. It's why I am praised for away. You must embrace your shame and move in the direction of your future. Shame doesn't define you because it's simply a path to your destination. So, what would shame mean to you henceforth? How would you see shame from now? What clear steps must you take to overcome it? Who will you be honest with henceforth about your life? I always say there's always an angel designed to go on this journey with you. Maybe you can even share it with me. I'm not going to laugh at you. It doesn't matter what people have got to say. Some people say, once you do this, God cannot use you. Says who? Says a man who is not God? Because God has not given up on you. Why would you give up on yourself? What is the worst that can happen if the world hears about your shame? I remember when I had to open myself up about my sexual recklessness, I kept thinking, what if I shared and people are going to laugh at me? And I remember what my mother said. My mother said to me many years ago, said the best song in the world, if you sing it for 3 months, people will find another song. So I said to myself, praise, if people talk about your story for 3 months, you'll find someone else's story. And that was then, because the rate at which people find another story is on a daily basis, which is, in 48 hours, another story is overshadowed, which is why when you check, the hashtags on Twitter, when you check what is trending, you realize that from every 48 hours, it changes. So the worst that can happen is they will talk about it. Some people will no longer be your friend, but it will also shine people into your life who are going through the pain you're going through because they know that you are real. They know you are authentic. You are not pretending. You can own your narrative before it becomes breaking news. Because shame is more lethal and more painful when it's breaking news. But when you open it up yourself to say, this is what I did, I'm not proud of it, but I've learned my lessons, you control your narrative. So what would your response be? And how do you bounce back to become a blessing to humanity? Who is in your past you need to apologize to or have a closure with so that you can truly be free? Right? I mean, I had to visit a lot of people. I had to say I'm sorry to quite a number of people in my past. And honestly, I feel so excited about what I did. Because it just sets me free. You shouldn't kill yourself over what you have done. You need to get to the level of humility where you go back to say you're sorry. I always say to people, in case you're still afraid, you can have a session with me, right? Or you can even plan to be in my live class. You can send me a mail, pf@iampraisforward.com. What you need to understand is this. If corrupt people are worshipped by the same people who shame them, then don't let anyone put you in a box because your shame is simply a part of your journey. Don't make that mistake. It's not meant to ground you. It doesn't define you. It's not who you are. It's simply a part of your journey. The root or the sin does not define the movie. The sin is only a part of the movie. And oftentimes your shame is the suspense in the movie of your life. Don't let what anyone has said, anyone has taught, deprive you of the joy of your happy ending. Your life is a best-selling movie. What you call your shame is a sin in that movie. Take it so. Take your shame as a feedback. Embrace it or move beyond it. Don't build a castle on it. You are bigger than where you are. I love you. And I want you to know that from here, I embrace you. You are a champion. You've been through it. Rise above it. Embrace your shame and run in the direction of your future. I did that to myself. You can do it to yourself. The world is looking for authentic people, 7-star generals who have risen beyond their pain and shame, and they have made a testimony out of it. A proof that you have overcome it is how well you testify about it. Don't let it define you because it's not you. You are bigger than your shame. Your life is a happy ending. Go live that life. I honor you. I'll see you next week, and I hope this has helped.